Hey beautiful people, welcome to another episode of Organized Home and Life. It's the very first episode. I'm so glad that you were all able to join us, and I can't wait to start this journey with you guys. I'm really excited about this. So my name is Kayla, and you can find me in social media at Organized Home and Life. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, so on and so forth. And today we're going to talk about something that is pretty basic, but it's crucial to organizing. Simplifying. So organizing your home can take a lot of items and clutter and make it into an accessible and neater space. Yet when you see those stunning before and afters, I can guarantee you that they are not taking the same amount of items, rearranging them, and then putting them back into the same space. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a ton of space-saving options out there, but that's not what I'm talking about when I say that we need to simplify. Simplifying is the act of removing items that aren't necessary. And it can be hard to do in the world that we live in because everyone tells us that we need more stuff. Or they tell us, here's an organizer. Now you can fit more stuff into your space. I feel like I know this area pretty well, actually probably the best out of all my organizing skills, because my husband and I, Caleb, lived in a camper for 3.5 years, and we did disaster relief, and in order to do that, we had to sell everything we owned. And I mean everything. We had an estate sale, and all that was left at the end was 2 bags for Goodwill and a sofa. It was a very cleansing experience, but there are a lot of things that I had to rebuy when we came back from disaster relief. And we went straight from nothing into a fifth wheel, and I still had to buy things. So there is such a thing as getting rid of too much. But here's the thing, even if you're trying to clean out just your hall closet, or you're moving from a 2,000 square foot apartment into a fifth wheel, you can't be afraid of throwing things out. Now, some of us are really good at this. However, maybe it's a leftover mentality from the Great Depression, or just something that's encouraged by materialism. But most of us stink at throwing things away or donating them. I know I do. So how do we do it? How do we manage to simplify our lives to make it easier to organize? Well, my technique is very similar to Marie Kondo. You've probably heard of her. She has a TV show on Netflix. But she uses the idea of spark joy. Essentially, you sit with an item, and if it brings you deep joy, then you keep it. If it doesn't, you get rid of it. That simple. But is it? For example, user manuals. I feel this innate urge to keep my user manuals for appliances, TVs, anything. However, those can all be found on Google with a simple online search. And when I hold a TV manual in my hand, it doesn't bring me any joy. And what will happen if I keep it? It's going to sit on a shelf and it's going to get dusty. Now, there are some very important documents that don't necessarily give us joy that we have to keep. So please don't get rid of your mortgage or your life insurance policies or anything important. But there is a lot in our lives that are just taking up space. So find an area of the home that you want to reorganize. Before you buy bins, you measure, you plan, get a trash bag, and we're going to throw away anything you don't need. The obvious stuff, empty bottles, old papers, empty packaging. You'd be amazed at how much of that is just sitting around your home. And you're going to throw it away, and you're going to be left with an emptier space, which means easier to organize. Then as you start to organize and you take items off the shelves and find old expired beauty products and extra things you'll never use. You can either throw them away or you can donate them. You're going to have the desire to keep those things or justify keeping them. Go ahead and resist that urge. If you simplify as you organize, you're going to accomplish that stunning, simple aesthetic that you see in the magazines. And simplifying doesn't mean that you can't have things. It just means that you need to weed out the things you don't need. It's going to make your life simpler, which is ironic because we're talking about simplifying. So try it out. I want to know if you simplified something and how it went. Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more organizing tips, join me next week for another episode and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you for joining us for the very first episode of Organized Home and Life, and I hope to see you again.